ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। हरि ओम। Salutations to all. 6 verses of Rudrashtakam we have seen describe Bhagwan's various aspects, the Sagun Sakar, Nirgun Nirakar, some of the qualities of Bhagwan, the symbolism behind the form, etc. Now, this seventh verse is a proclamation, and it is a suggestion actually, that so long as we don't do such and such thing, so long we will not be happy. So it is also a suggestion to do what needs to be done to attain what we want. We want happiness, we want bliss. And so here, beautifully, Tulsidas ji says, Nayavad umanath padaravindam bhajanti haloke pareva naranam न तावत् सुखं शान्ति संतापनाशं प्रसीद प्रभो सर्वभूताधिवासम्। यावत् तावत्, as long as one doesn't, as long as and so long, till one does not worship. Na yavat, worship whom? Bhajanti, whom? Umanatha padara vindam, the lotus feet of the Lord of Mother Uma. Till one does not worship the lotus feet of the Lord of Uma, Naraha, meaning human being, Narana means human being, where Ihaloke Pareva, in this world or even in the higher worlds. Tavat, so long, na sukham shanti santapanasham. There is no happiness, peace, or destruction of sorrows. Hence, prasida Prabho, please be gracious to me, O Lord. Who are you? Sarvabhutadhivasam. You are in the hearts of all the beings, and all the beings are in you. So this is the literal meaning, that as long as one does not worship the Lord of Uma, in this world or in the higher, the human being will not attain happiness, peace, or freedom from sorrow. Hence, please be gracious, O Lord of all the beings, who resides in all the beings and in whom all the beings reside. The simple meaning. So this is like a conclusion also. When a person lives in the world, our senses have been made extrovert. Paranchikhani Vetrinat Swayambhuhu. The Supreme Lord only has made the senses extrovert. So Gurudev, this is a Kathopanishad mantra. So Gurudev used to say that the manufacturing defect is there in all of us. By default, our senses are turned outside. Like a company produces products, and some of them, if they have a manufacturing defect, then one has to withdraw that product or give some compensation to the customer for the flaw. So Gurudev used to say there's a manufacturing defect in us. By default, Bhagavan has made the senses extrovert. And so, tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman. So one is searching for happiness in the world outside. See, the senses are turned extrovert is not actually a defect by itself. Gurudev was saying in a humorous way. But the idea here is the senses will see outside. There is no problem. Even a realized person, the senses are still looking in the world outside, but they are not running for happiness behind objects because the wrong notion in the mind has been removed. So initially one runs in the world outside, and initially meaning it can be many lifetimes also, because we have been conditioned to think happiness is in this object, in that food, in this movie, in that place, in this person. So one goes outside and craves, gets attached. If one doesn't get something, one gets miserable. This whole cycle one goes through. And then one comes to realize that no matter how much, even if I have got certain things that I wanted, the best food and the best place to stay and best clothes and best enjoyments, whatever I needed, even if I have got all those, there is still some hollowness, there is still some emptiness, there is still the fear of death, there is still attachment, so there is sorrow. So, peace and happiness which we want is everlasting peace and happiness which we want. We are not satisfied with temporary. Temporary we are getting from the world. But if I want everlasting peace and happiness, I want to be free from sorrows once and for all. That's what the third line says. Sukham, Shanti, Santapanasham. That bliss, supreme peace, and freedom from all disturbances, sorrows. If I want that, then it cannot happen unless one turns within. Because the world outside is anyway temporary, perishable, it does not last long, continuously changing. That's why it is samsara, samyak sarati, that which is continuously slipping away. We try to grasp it, but it can't be grasped, it will slip. That's the nature of samsara. Things will continuously change. And so that happiness that we want will not be permanent, it will not remain. And that happiness which we seek is anyway not the state of the mind. Because mind's nature is fickle. Even the mind which is made highly sattvic and single pointed is finally it is a guna, it will change. Whatever is in the realm of Prakriti will change. So the happiness that we are seeking, the peace that we are seeking is not the peace of the mind, happiness of the mind. It is the peace of the self. Atma Shanti is what we are seeking, but we don't know that. So one who has examined the world outside carefully, which is why our scriptures give 50 years for that. Brahmacharya ashram, grahastha ashram, 50 years totally, 25, to get the knowledge of dharma, to understand the purpose of life, to understand this personality, how it works, what is the nature of this Srishti, who is the Ishvara, what is the connection between Jiva, Jagat and Jagadishvara, all that one understands the knowledge, then Brahmacharya ashram that is. Then Grahastha ashram, another 25 years, engage in the world, work hard, attain wealth, prosperity, progeny, pleasure, popularity, power, prestige, all this, and see for oneself that even after getting all this, the mind is still not fully satisfied. There is some emptiness. And that can't be filled by any person or a thing or a situation. One still feels limited. Jiva Bhav is still there. So that person has to go to that's why one seeks the satsang and the teacher. Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmana. Having seen not only this world, even studied the scripture and analyzed and understood that even the higher worlds, that's why it says pareva loke, in this world as well as in the higher worlds. One who has examined through one's own direct experience, then vicarious experience, looking at the experience of people around, looking at the declarations of the scriptures, analyzing the lives of great saints, reading the Puranas, understanding so many challenges are there even in Devaloka. Indra will feel insecure if some rishi is meditating. So there is insecurity, there is competition, there is, fighting between asuras and devas. It goes on. This is samsara. If one wants to engage in all this, one engages continuously. But one who has seen this and understood that this is a realm of finite. Pariksha lokan karma chitan, born out of karma. And whatever result I will get is very temporary because karma is temporary. The srishti is temporary. Then Nirvedam ayat. Na asti akrita kritena. What permanent happiness I want is not there in this world. So Nirvedam ayat. One has become dispassionate. Meaning, one has not become pessimistic, one has not become escapist, one is not disillusioned. One has come to understand that what I need can't be fulfilled by this world, can't be fulfilled by any amount of action, by any relationships. Because my demand is for permanent happiness and everything which is changing, how will I get permanent from the changing? Simple logic. Upanishads call that person as a wise person. Na dhruvam adhruveshu iha prarthayante. Dhira Purusha is that. A wise person is one who does not seek the permanent amidst the temporary. From the temporary, how will I get the permanent? If I go to the desert, in the middle of the desert, absolute heat in the middle of the day, standing in the desert sand, if I dig, thinking I will get water there, is that not foolishness? But that is what we are doing. Seeking the permanent happiness in the temporary and getting disappointed. For some time, one may even get some pleasure out of it, some enjoyment out of it, but finally, like a small child playing with the toys, derives a lot of joy from it because it is its own imagination. Same way we play with the world, is our imagination. Happiness is in this, happiness is in that, and sometimes it is opposite also. There is dukkha in that, but I feel there is pleasure in that because of the conditioning. Smoking, drinking, non-vegetarian, tobacco, all these. Where is happiness in that? It is destructive, but drugs, all that one takes because of conditioning, and it will give some kind of a temporary hallucination, kick, forgetfulness, all that. So one takes. But if one analyzes, it is not there. So that person who has seen through the world, Nirvedamayat, na astyakrita kritena. Then what to do? Where will I get this supreme truth? Supreme happiness. Tad vijnanartham sa gurum eva abhigachet. One goes to the teacher, spiritual teacher we mean, Vedantic teacher. That person who is a Shrotriya Brahmanishta, who has realized the truth, who is well versed in the scriptures, one goes to such a teacher and seeks the knowledge. One goes with a burning desire to know the truth. Samit Panihi, holding the twigs, bundle of twigs on one's head. One goes to the teacher, surrenders, offers that bundle of twigs in service of the teacher, and says that I have come, please help me, give me the knowledge, help me to clear my doubts, help me in my sadhana. So with one goes there with the bhava of Sharanagati. That teacher then tells the student that where is happiness? It is in your own heart, your own nature it is actually. But we don't realize that. Even though knowledge is given, we won't realize it because the Jiva Bhav is very strong. Hence, one has to surrender, and an altar of surrender is very important. One can surrender to a higher cause, one can surrender to, you know, a deeper purpose. Maybe my family, maybe my country, maybe community, all that. But all that also is a part of the samsara. And no doubt it is better than I living for I, me, and myself. I live for my family, my community, my country, a noble cause. But permanent happiness can't come through any of them also. And that's why one has to surrender to Bhagavan alone, who is infinite, whose nature is Sachidananda, who is permanent by nature. And hence here he says, the Guru guides the student that seek the Lord, serve, worship, surrender to the Lord. And hence here he says, Na tavat yanayavad umanatha padaravindam bhajanti, till one does not worship the lotus feet of Umanath. Here because it is Shivji, it is Umanath is written. You can apply whichever form you want. Mother Kali, Hanumanji, Vishnu Bhagwan, Krishna Bhagwan, Durga Devi, whichever form. It is Ishvara. Uma Nath. Uma is a symbol of Prakriti here. Nath is a Purusha. So that supreme consciousness, infinite consciousness, using its power of Maya, becomes Ishvara. Umanath here is symbol of Ishvara. And so whichever form we worship of the Lord, that form we must have the bhav, it is the form of Bhagavan, form of Ishvara. And I surrender to that form. And that form, there are five major forms: Shiva, Vishnu, Devi, Ganesha, Surya. This is called Panchayatana. In the first or second satsang, we have done that. That worshipping Shivji is worshipping all the five. Panchayatana we are worshipping when we worship Bhagavan Shiva. So, whichever, all the other forms are manifestations of these five major forms. So, whichever form one takes, one must have the bhav that form is Bhagavan. Then, whatever sambandh one builds, Bhagavan is my child, Bhagavan is my father, Bhagavan is my beloved, Bhagavan is my master, Bhagavan is the Lord Himself. Whichever, whatever is the sambandh one builds, one has to surrender to that form. When we surrender our ego, bhakti bhav is there, ego we drop. What is the meaning of that surrender? Surrender means to think of the Lord, to accept the will of the Lord, to drop our insistence and resistance. Anukulasya sankalpaha pratikulasya varjanam. To continuously think of the Lord and to put aside any other contrary thoughts. Rakshishyati iti vishwasaha. Bhagwan protects that faith. Goptritva varanam tatha. And one seeks exclusively, yes, I want only the Lord. I have seen the world enough. I have had enough. Been there, done that, done and dusted. No craving for the world. Because see, there is no craving for childhood toys that we have now. Same way, no craving for the world. Because seen enough. experienced enough. There's nothing more left to experience. The only thing left is turn within. So Goptruttvas, exclusively one is thinking that my goal is Bhagavan. I want to know the truth. Then one throws oneself at the feet of the Lord. Atmanikshepa karpanye, that one surrenders completely. That Bhagavan, I have come to your refuge. Please protect me, lead me, guide me, enlighten me. These are lakshanas of Sharanagati. I will share in the WhatsApp group. Anukulasya sankalpah pratikulasya varjanam. What was that? Anukulasya sankalpah pratikulasya varjanam. रक्षिष्यति इति विश्वासः गोप्तृत्ववर्णं तथा आत्मनिक्षेप कार्पण्ये. So these are the signs of surrender, where we learn to accept Bhagwan's will. We are serving the Lord. And so when this Sharanagati happens, our ego drops. When ego drops, one comes to realize my nature is Sukha, Shanti. And that's how when one goes to the teacher, the knowledge also one can attain, one can experience when there is Sharanagati, either Ishvara Bhakti, which is what the Guru will tell, that serve the Lord. Even if one is serving the teacher, the bhavana is Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. So even Guru Upasana, if one does, the Upasana is not of the person, Upasana is of Ishvara only. So the fact is, so long as one does not surrender to Bhagavan, as long as one doesn't surrender to Bhagavan, so long one will not attain peace, happiness that one is really seeking. That peace and happiness which will destroy sorrow once and for all. Sukha, Shanti, Santapanasham. This temporary happiness and pleasure that we get, that doesn't destroy sorrow, but that is the seed of the sorrow. That's why that expression is very powerful. Sukham, Shanti, and Santapanasham. That what is Sukham is not excitement, thrill, maja, tickling of the senses, some gulab jamun I ate and some movie I saw and some fantastic music I heard and I feel excited. Then we think, I'm so happy. That is excitement. That is the tickling of the senses. That lasts for a very short time. Law of diminishing return starts immediately, and first gulab jamun, what pleasure it gives, the 10th one will not give that much. Gulab jamun is the same. So it is tickling of the senses. There's nothing beyond that. But that creates a vasana to seek that further. So it does not remove the sorrow. On the contrary, it adds the seed of sorrow. This reflection when we do, then we get the vairagya, saying enough now. Why do I want to keep on increasing my baggage? Already I came with X number of karma to exhaust here. While going through those, I'm adding more and more desires and more karma. And this cycle of birth and death will go on. And so if one thinks I didn't get happiness here, one thinks I should go to America, I should go to Australia, I should go here, I should go there. Swamiji, in this place it may not be there, in that place it may be. Tulsidaji says, not only in this place, anywhere. You go anywhere in this world. Iha loke. He says, Pareva, even in the higher worlds you go, it is not there. No, Swamiji, I heard in Swarga it is, you don't have to do anything. There is no disease, there is no old age, there is no death. And you are just, you think and your desire is fulfilled. Even in that Swarga, Indra and all of them, all the Devatas, No doubt they enjoy, they revel in sense enjoyment because that's what they wanted and they went. It's only little higher level of enjoyment, but it is still temporary. And it is still the same thing. It does not end the sorrows. If it ended the sorrows, then Indra, etc., would not be so insecure even after becoming the king of gods. That's such a high position. He is more powerful than anything in this world, any powerful position in this world. And even after getting that, is insecure. So Santapanasha does not happen. If one has understood that very clearly, that's the purpose of our scriptures. To make us think, analyze, question what we are doing. Gurudev said beautifully, the moment one questions the validity of one's pursuit, one becomes a seeker. It's a very powerful line. The moment one questions the validity of one's pursuits, one becomes a seeker. That why am I doing all this? What do I really want? From where will I get it? What I really seek is supreme peace and happiness. From where will I get it? Not from the world outside. Padaravindam bhajanti. Till I don't worship Bhagwan's lotus feet. And then, how will I get it? When I turn within. I won't get it from the world outside. Where? Not outside, inside. Where inside? Beyond the mind. Only in the self. There is Sukham, Shanti, and that Sukha is Shanti. I was saying that the tickling of the senses is what we think is Sukha, but Sukha is actually quietude of the mind. And when that mind is quiet, Sukha is our Swarupa, that reflects. Even while we are enjoying, the temporary pleasure that we get may come from the contact of the senses and the sense objects, but the happiness comes only from the self. One example given is it's like eating the chocolate with the wrapper. Enjoying sense pleasure is like that, where we are eating the chocolate with the wrapper. But when we take out the wrapper and eat the pure chocolate, that is turning within and realizing the absolute truth. So the borrowed happiness is in the sense objects. Direct happiness is our Swarupa. Instead of experiencing direct happiness, we are going for that indirect one. Just remove the covering and eat the chocolate nicely. That is this. If in that language, if we have to say, so long as one does not remove the wrapper of the chocolate here or anywhere else, so long one will not experience the bliss of the pure chocolate. That's this shloka in the modern language. How much time does it take? How much common sense does it take to understand this, that why should I eat a chocolate with the wrapper? Remove it and eat. Even to a small child we teach, no, beta, remove. Because the child takes and puts anything in the mouth. Small child doesn't know what it takes. Then you teach, hey, beta, remove. Don't eat the wrapper, take only the chocolate. But as elders, what are we doing? Eating the chocolate with the wrapper. So Tulsidadi says, beta, get up, don't do this. Remove the chocolate wrapper. Then you eat directly. You will enjoy much more. So, Umanatha Padara Vindam, Sukham is Shanti, and that Sukha and Shanti are our Swarupa. That is our supreme nature. And that Sukha and Shanti, when we experience, when we let go of the ego, turn within, that will destroy completely all the source of sorrow. Why? Because ego is the source of all sorrow. We have dropped it. Worship of Bhagavan, drop the ego. So then, Santapanasham, all sorrows are gone, permanent happiness one experiences. Worship of the feet is for that. The expression here is Padara Vindam, the lotus feet. Lotus feet, so feet are the lowest part of one's body, head is the highest part of the body. When we bow down the head to the feet of Bhagwan or the Guru, then we are surrendering the ego. Feet are that in which the person is established, rooted, symbolizes the values, the truth, the ideals in which the person is strongly rooted. When one bows down, then one is actually surrendering the ego and imbibing all those values, the knowledge, the ideals. And so that person comes to experience. Now, Umanatha. Who is Umanatha? So one meaning we said Uma is Prakriti and Natha is the Purusha. So without Purusha, Prakriti can't function. It is Jadavastu, it is inert. And without Prakriti, Purusha will not be able to express and appear as the world of plurality. Remember again, Purusha is not male, Prakriti is not female. That somehow we have come to associate. Purusha is beyond gender and Prakriti also is beyond gender. All the three genders belong in the Prakriti. So when it is depicted, as Mother Parvati and Bhagwan Shiva, then our mind thinks of Bhagwan Shiva as a male and Mother Parvati as the female. And so we think Purusha is male, Prakriti is female. No, no, that's a depiction there. Purusha and Prakriti both are beyond gender. For us to understand, the form also is taken. And so Umanatha is the Lord of Uma, meaning the supreme consciousness which enlivens the Prakriti. That is one meaning. So we worship that infinite consciousness which is in our heart. That Purusha is here. Purau Sheteti Purusha. That supreme consciousness is in our heart as the self. Aham, aham, aham. Each of us feels I am, I am, I am. Nobody feels I am not, I don't exist. That aham is Umanath. Umanath also means the Lord of the sincere seeker, who is single pointedly contemplating to know only Shiva. So Mother Parvati, when Sati immolated herself and was born in the family of Himavan and Maina Devi, Parvatraj Himavan, and Parvati Devi was told by Naradji that your husband is Bhagwan Shiva. And so seek him, marry him. So he told this, and she decided in her mind, yes, Shiva is mine. She is attracted naturally to Shivji, and so she tells her parents, and with their permission, she goes into the forest and she starts doing penance there. And she lives, initially, she lives on the fruits and the roots for a few days. Then she stops eating the fruits and roots. She lives only on the water. Then she drops water, lives only on the air. Initially, she was taking also some leaves, fruits, roots, leaves, all that. So when she stopped taking even the leaves, so fruits and roots from there to the leaves, then she stopped the leaves also and came to drink only water. So when she stopped drinking the leaves also, her name became Aparna, one who does not eat even the leaves, meaning there is no solid food now. Only water she is drinking. Then she stopped drinking water also. And she is focusing only on the air, getting the prana from the air and then body surviving on that. At that point in time, her mother comes there in the forest and she sees that my daughter is doing such severe penance. So those who say that women can't worship Bhagavan, women can't do this, women can't do that, you open our scriptures and read. She has gone into the forest. Parents have permitted her. Gone alone, staying there, single-pointedly seeking Bhagavan. So she has become very thin, emaciated, weak. And there the mother reaches and she says that this is my daughter. She has become so, she is resplendent because of her tapasya, but she has become thin and weak. And she's not eating food, she's not drinking water, she's living on air. So the mother says, "Oh Ma." So her name became Uma. Don't do such a terrific tapasya. So Uma means a seeker who is single pointedly seeking Bhagavan alone. And Bhagavan is propitiated by her, and finally she marries Bhagavan. So Uma represents the seeker who is seeking Shiva, the Jiva who wants to unite with Shiva. So Umanath, the Lord of Uma, one worships Bhagavan. Uma also is symbol of the bhakti. So Uma is bhakti and the Lord. So till the bhakti of the Lord does not happen, we don't worship the Lord who blesses us with bhakti. We will not attain supreme peace and happiness. How is Uma bhakti? See, Parvatraj Himalaya. Himalaya is the abode of knowledge. So many great rishis, munis, sadhu, sant, all of them are there in the Himalayas. Bhagavan says, Thavaranam Himalaya. Amongst the non-moving things, I am Himalaya, meaning the mountains. By non-moving, he meant the mountains there. Amongst the mountains, I am the Himalayas. Spiritual vibrations are a lot because so much tapasya has happened there. So, the scriptural knowledge is symbolized by the Himalayas. Himavan means the knowledge of the scriptures. Naradji is the guru. Parvati Devi is the disciple. And when Naradji gave the knowledge about Bhagavan to Mother Parvati, and she is born of Himavan, so a very sharp and a steady intellect is Himavan. When that studies the scriptures, that type of an intellect, naturally bhav is born for Bhagavan. When the Guru gives the knowledge of the scriptures, then that must bring devotion in our heart and that bhavana that yes, I want to be one with the Lord. The purpose of the scriptural knowledge is that it is not some dry intellectualism, arguments, and logic. It is to create that feeling that yes, I want to know the Supreme, that is my own self. I want to know Shiva Tattva. That bhavana is important. So Umanath means one who is a lord of the seeker who has this bhakti. Having studied the scriptures, having gone to the, having learned from the teacher, having reflected upon it by oneself, then one comes to this bhav that yes, I want. And the purpose of the scriptural study is this intense desire that yes, I want, and then to do that tapasya, to put in that effort to know the truth. How much ever one can do at one's level. One doesn't have to get scared, I have to stop eating fruits and then leaves also, and then only water and then no water. See, that's only an external depiction that she lived in sense control. She turned her mind fully towards God. She withdrew herself from everything else. We have to apply that in our context. Please don't stop eating food and all that. Tapasya, the highest tapasya is to think single-pointedly about Bhagavan. Aikagyam paramam tapaha. Supreme concentration on the Lord is the supreme tapas. So, when we put in that effort, then we are Uma and Bhagavan is a Nath, and Bhagavan will unite the Jiva with Shiva. And that is the only way to experience this. Sukham, Shanti, Santapanasham. Uma also means Uma, it is the feminine form of Omkar, as though Aum becomes Om. Uma is Uma. So U becomes U and then Ma, right? So U and Ma, U and Ma. So if we reverse that, Uma, Uma, feminine form of Omkar. That is one of the things that some of the saints they say. Omkar does not have a masculine form. Omkar is not masculine. Omkar is anyway Sagun Nirakar. There is no form of Omkar. But just to say that that supreme truth which is indicated by Om is personified as Uma. So that supreme Lord of Uma, the Lord of our heart, the Lord of the seeker, one worships the lotus feet of that Lord. And hence the prayer is Prasida Prabho. Oh Lord, please be gracious, because this bhakti will come by the grace of Bhagwan. Guru will come into life by grace of Bhagwan. Vairagya will come by the grace of Bhagwan. Buddhi is given to us to reflect by the grace of Bhagwan. Prasida Prabho, please be gracious to me, O Lord. Who are you? Sarva Bhutadhivasa. You are the Supreme Lord who is in the hearts of all the beings, Sarva Bhutadhivasa. As what? As existence and consciousness and bliss. Sat Chit Anand. And all the beings are also residing in you, because you are the infinite consciousness, the substratum of the whole creation. You are the bliss in which the jivas revel. But they don't know that they are reveling in you actually. They think that it is coming from some sense enjoyment. But you are actually the bliss. Whatever little pleasure, sense enjoyment, emotional joy, intellectual satisfaction we get is all actually a reflection of Brahmananda. All Vishayananda is Brahmananda only, but through the equipment. Like the wrapper with the chocolate. So remove the chocolate, remove the wrapper, eat the chocolate directly. And so one is saying, Bhagwan, please be gracious. So this is the shloka for today that we will meditate upon.